History is full of surprises, but some events are so bizarre they sound like fiction. Get ready for the top 10 most unbelievable historical facts that actually happened. From avian warfare to dancing plagues, presidential parrots with potty mouths, and a man who defied the odds not once but twice. Fasten your seatbelts and prepare to question everything you thought you knew, because the past is a much stranger place than you might imagine. Picture this, the vast Australian outback, 1932. The sun beats down on a land seemingly untouched by time. But a war is brewing, a war unlike any other. Our combatants, the Australian Army armed with Lewis machine guns and their formidable foe, the emu. Yes, you heard that right. Emus, those flightless birds, had become a nuisance, devastating farmers' crops. The solution? Declare war. The Emu War was a truly bizarre affair. Soldiers trained for human conflict faced off against these feathered giants. The emus, masters of guerrilla warfare, were difficult targets. The conflict lasted for weeks, with the Australian government eventually withdrawing in defeat. The Great Emu War stands as a humorous yet cautionary tale of human hubris in the face of nature's resilience. Napoleon Bonaparte, the emperor who conquered nations, the brilliant military strategist. History remembers him as a giant among men. Yet, even giants have their weaknesses. And for Napoleon, it seems one of those weaknesses came in the form of rabbits. The year was 1807. Napoleon, fresh off a string of victories, decided to celebrate with a grand rabbit hunt. It was meant to be a display of power. Little did they know they were about to be utterly outmaneuvered by bunnies. As hundreds of rabbits were released, something unexpected happened. Instead of scattering in fear, the rabbits charged. Napoleon and his entourage, caught completely off guard, were forced to retreat. The emperor, who had stared down enemy armies, was defeated by a horde of bunnies. It's a story that proves even the most powerful figures can be humbled by the most unexpected of adversaries. The year is 897 AD. The setting, the hallowed halls of the Vatican, but this isn't your typical Sunday Mass. This is a trial for the ages, a courtroom drama unlike any other. On one side, Pope Stephen VI, a man fueled by vengeance and ambition. On the other, his predecessor, Pope Formosus, or rather, his rotting corpse. Pope Stephen VI had a bone to pick with the deceased Formosus. Accusing him of perjury and other offenses, Stephen decided to settle the score by putting a corpse on trial. Formosus's decaying body was exhumed, dressed in full papal regalia, and propped up on a throne. A deacon was appointed to represent the deceased pontiff, while Stephen acted as both prosecutor and judge. The charges were read, witnesses were called, and the macabre spectacle unfolded. The trial was a farce. Formosus was found guilty, his papacy declared null and void, and his body tossed into the Tiber River. The Cadaver Synod remains one of the most bizarre and disturbing events in papal history. Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of ancient Egypt. Her name conjures images of pyramids and hieroglyphs. But Cleopatra lived closer in time to the invention of the iPhone than to the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. The Great Pyramid was completed around 2560 BC. Cleopatra ruled Egypt from 51 to 30 BC, a difference of over 2.5 millennia. Mike the Headless Chicken, a feathery medical marvel. In 1945, on a farm in Fruita, Colorado, a chicken destined for the dinner table defied the odds. Mike's story began with a fateful swing of the axe. Despite having a good portion of his head removed, Mike the chicken refused to die. He stumbled about, seemingly unfazed by his missing parts. Olson, astounded by the rooster's will to live, decided to spare him. Mike, with his owner's careful attention, continued to live and thrive. He became a national sensation, touring the country and inspiring merchandise. Mike the Headless Chicken lived a surprisingly long life. His story reminds us that life is full of surprises. Mike became a symbol of resilience and the unexpected turns that life can take. The Dancing Plague of 1518, when the beat wouldn't stop. Imagine a city gripped by an inexplicable mania, its streets transformed into a stage for a relentless, involuntary dance marathon. This was the reality of Strasbourg in the summer of 1518. It began with a single woman, Frau Trophea, who stepped into the street and began to dance. There was no music, no apparent reason for her frantic movements. Soon, others joined her, compelled by an invisible rhythm. Days turned into weeks as the number of dancers swelled. Physicians were baffled, unable to offer a rational explanation. The cause of the dancing plague remains a mystery to this day. The dancing plague of 1518 stands as a chilling reminder of the strange and unpredictable ways in which the human body can react to unseen forces. The 38-minute war history's quickest conflict. Wars are often associated with prolonged periods of bloodshed and destruction, but what about a war so short, you could practically watch an entire episode of your favorite show in the time it took to unfold? Enter the Anglo-Zanzibar War of 1896, a conflict so brief, it holds the title of the shortest war in recorded history. This clash of empires lasted a grand total of 38 minutes. The spark was the death of the pro-British Sultan Hamad bin Thuwaini of Zanzibar, and the swift ascension of his cousin, Sultan Khalid bin Bargash. The British issued an ultimatum: vacate the palace, or face the consequences. At precisely 9 a.m. on August 27, 1896, the British fleet opened fire on the Sultan's palace. By 9:38 a.m., the Sultan's forces were subdued, and the war was over before it really had a chance to begin. A presidential parrot's foul-mouthed farewell. Presidential pets have long held a place of fascination in the public imagination, but few presidential pets have made quite the impression as Pole, the foul-mouthed parrot belonging to Andrew Jackson. Pole, an African gray parrot, was a beloved companion to President Jackson, known for his ability to mimic human speech. At President Jackson's funeral in 1845, Pole began to unleash a torrent of profanity. The mourners, initially stunned into silence, could only watch in disbelief. Paul's outburst became a legend, a testament to the unpredictable nature of animals. The Eiffel Tower, a monument that breathes? The Eiffel Tower, that iconic symbol of Paris, a masterpiece of wrought iron latticework. But hidden within this monument is a surprising secret. The Eiffel Tower breathes. Due to the remarkable properties of metal and the laws of physics, the Eiffel Tower experiences thermal expansion. Metal expands when heated and contracts when cooled. During the scorching Parisian summers, the iron structure absorbs heat, causing it to expand up to 6 inches. Conversely, in the cooler months, the tower contracts. The Eiffel Tower is constantly responding to its environment, a silent giant engaged in a perpetual dance with the elements. Tsutomu Yamaguchi, the man who cheated death twice. August 6, 1945. The world watched in horror as the city of Hiroshima, Japan, was forever changed by the atomic bomb. Amidst the devastation, stories of survival emerged. And then there's the story of Tsutomu Yamaguchi, a man who experienced the unimaginable, not once, but twice. Yamaguchi was on a business trip to Hiroshima when the first atomic bomb detonated. He was just 2 miles from ground zero, the blast leaving him with severe burns and temporary blindness. Battered but alive, he sought refuge, eventually making his way back to his hometown, Nagasaki. 3 days later, as he recounted his harrowing experience, the unimaginable happened again. At 11:02 a.m. on August 9, 1945, another atomic bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. Yamaguchi, against all odds, survived again. Injured, irradiated, but alive, Yamaguchi's story is a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. From avian adversaries to dancing plagues and presidential parrots, history is chock full of surprises. Which one left you speechless? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible top 10s. Until next time, keep exploring the weird and wonderful world around us.